Well, the days of the commie overreach, they're holding on to all sorts of power, may soon be coming to an end. They're kind of dwindling a little bit right now, but some things that are going on in D.C. right now, just sort of across the board in different categories, may actually blow them up forever. First thing, of course, the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments on the Voting Rights Act. That was instituted, aside from, in addition to the Civil Rights Act back in the 60s, that essentially created all of these heavily African-American districts that were, I suppose, in the intention, were like, hey, let's, make sure that, some of the minority, different types get, voting rights and, fair representation and all of that. Okay, so noble idea, maybe work for a while. But the Democrats have used that to hold on to various positions of power and lock down seats. So it's being challenged now. Is this still necessary 60 some years later? Hasn't it achieved its goal? If that goes away, and those districts all get redistricted and, lines all redrawn, well, that would be a devastating blow to the Democrats. And let's back up for once for the number of seats in Congress. Let's back up for a second. Before that, right now, with all the kind of re-gerrymandering and mid-election cycle redistricting that's going on around the country, even if you count California and Gavin Newsom and that whole thing happening, even with that, Republicans are probably going to gain somewhere around 7, 8, 9 seats in Congress, in the House. Okay, well, that sort of freezes them out. You throw this on top of it, that the Civil Rights Voting Act gets thrown out. That will probably bring somewhere between another 15 to 20 Republican seats into Congress on top of the plus 7, 8, or 9. Those two things alone are, that's crazy. Then you move to the 2030 census, where already, right now, there are projections of at least 7, 8, 9 more seats because people moving out of those blue state hellholes into red states, and again, tipping the balance of power even further. The Democrats are on the verge of an absolute and complete and total wipeout by Republicans for all three of those reasons: the gerrymandering, mid-cycle districting, the Voting Rights Act, however that goes in the Supreme Court. Indications are that that's no longer a done deal. And the third one is the census. That happens, and you're going to have somewhere between a 30 and a 40 seat, almost permanent majority in the U.S. House. How will that work? Well, you also remember a lot of these people, how does that affect the Senate? Well, tons of people are being deported, shipped out, moved on. The voting election integrity measures are being taken in states across the country. It's the Senate isn't based on the census or gerrymandering maps or anything like that, but it is based on just who gets to vote. Well, if you're removing Democratic voters by deporting them and, doing another census, all that, this is moving into the realm of permanent Republican control. Because not only would you get the House because of all that huge advantage, but remember, those seats in the House also determine the Electoral College vote. This is why the Democrats are going absolutely insane. They have the ability, because demons always do, to look down the road, and while they don't have a certitude, they have a pretty darn good idea of how things are shaping up. This isn't going to be good for them at all. Their chance to sort of prevent this from happening was Butler, Pennsylvania last year during the campaign, during last summer, year and a half or whatever it was ago. Barring that, problem for them now is even if they were to somehow create that circumstance, like what happened to Charlie Kirk and what they tried to do in Butler, Pennsylvania, and what they tried to do in Mar-a-Lago with that Routh guy, even if they did all of that, all of Trump's people are now in place to carry this on. I don't even think that's really technically, it might be some lunatic who hates Trump's guts because of TDS or something who might pursue that as a path. But as far as a strategy, you talk about galvanizing the country even more. None of that has worked for them. So short of violence, they're about to lose their that massive control of power that they have had. And when that's gone, they're gone. Their high water mark may have already been achieved. And it's pretty nuts to Nichols that they know that. Coming to you from Houston, Texas, I'm Gary Michael Voris. God love you.